Well, it's 7:30. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, so many of you, for coming to our cabinet meeting this evening. As per the agenda, we'll take the first item for the minutes of the last meeting. I don't know how she was. On the 8th of July. I wondered if there were, is everybody happy with the minutes? Can we agree them?
Agreed.
Thank you. Apologies for absence. We have apologies from Caroline Smith-Wright. The third, item 3. Can I ask if there are any declarations of interest for items on the agenda?
No.
There are no declarations of interest, and there is no public participation. Turning to the referrals to Cabinet, board plan is on pages 8 through to 10. Can we agree the forward plan?
There's a few things that need to go on for the December forward plan, which is the 2026-27 fees and charges review and the town and parish council grant review.
They've been added since the publish.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Right, so can we note the changes and the forward plan as published? Yeah, thank you. So moving to item 7, private sector housing, HMO policy and fee review. I'm going to let Councillor Diani introduce it.
Thank you. So this policy is seeking a change, approval basically from a cabinet, as we want to introduce some changes to our current HMO policy. We have Rebecca here in the room, so I'm sure she's going to say more in detail, but as I understand, this change will help us run the services much more efficiently and to cover the cost, realistic cost of the service, which means we're going to bring in a provision of 1-year license as well as the existing, which is 5-year license, we do, and a change of a fee for the 5-year license. So I'm going to pass it to Rebecca, but I think it's a change we should be agreeing.
Okay, so the Cabinet report seeks approval for an updated HMO licensing policy and revised fee structure. So it will strengthen our stance on non-compliance by introducing a 1-year licence where standards are not met within HMOs, while retaining a 5-year licence option for compliant landlords. So the fee model has been revised for enhanced cost recovery, ensuring that the service is self-funding and non-reliant on taxpayers. So the revised policy and fee structure both aligns with our current enforcement framework and the upcoming framework that will be expected once the Renters' Rights Bill becomes an act. And this will help us better regulate high-risk HMOs. So I'm going to take the paper as read and welcome any questions.
Are there any questions on the report?
No, just a comment that it seemed like a sensible strategy to me.
Absolutely. I know you're recommending it to us, so yes, I think it's a very positive move forward, and thank you very much for all the work you've done on this. Also. And the recommendation is that the Cabinet approve the houses in multiple occupation licensing policy. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. The next item is the Equity, Diversity, Inclusion and Belonging Strategy for 2025-2030. I'm going to, as Caroline's away, turn straight to Aidan to say a few words about it.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, in Councillor Smith-Wright's absence, we'd like to present the EDIB strategy for 25 to 30 for Cabinet for approval. This is founded on a lot of the good work that's been going on inside the council for the last few years, and sets out a plan for the next 5 years, particularly focusing on data, strengthening community relationships, continuing to embed the inclusive culture that we have within the organisation, and ensuring accessibility around all our services. Matt and Stacey, who've done all the heavy lifting around this, are here to help answer any questions that you may have.
I just made a couple of notes. One, say, does it need to be as long a report as it's a strategy as it is, since it's sort of statutory requirements anyway, and there aren't actually financial implications? It didn't seem to need very much creative input, and that's a comment really. But the there's a screener, 4-page screener for projects, I think, to check compliance with the EDI strategy. Does that need to be? I'm wondering how does that apply to, and will that cause bureaucratic drag?
So I'm going to hand over to Stacey and Matt on that second point.
So the quality impact assessment is something that is that what you're referring to?
Sorry, I'm on the EDI.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is a statutory requirement that it's part of a project or a report that we currently is required to change it within the organisation. So this should be done at the very outset of a project. We've been doing this for years, and it does comply with the legal requirements that we have to have as part of the local democracy.
Okay, so it's not really a new thing then?
No.
Okay. My other very, very small comment is shouldn't we refer to our residents as citizens rather than customers?
So there's been a long kind of debate around this within the core, and we use customers quite a lot because that can cover organisations, partners, businesses, so on. And we talk a lot about our customer focus as an organisation, so holding ourselves to a high standard on that front, and that includes residents, but equally we recognise that customers can be as a word can be a little bit impersonal. So we will use it, customers, because that has a meaning within the organisation for staff, and they can see the links between a lot of the other work that we talk about. But we're also very keen to remind people that it's about residents, it's about real people, it's about our tenants, and so on. But yes, there is a tension, I guess, between those two words.
It seemed to me it would be appropriate when we're selling something like a tenancy to a garage or whatever. But when we're providing a service, then the citizen term, to me anyway, seems more appropriate. I'm not sure what my colleagues think of that. It's not a game changer for this issue.
I think citizenship confers all sorts of other kind of complications around people's status in the country, and I think I'm very happy with the word customer. But as I said, citizenship is something that people kind of hold quite in quite a prized way, and not everybody that we're serving would necessarily be a citizen in the same way that I think might be understood by many people. And indeed, not everybody is a resident, as Aidan has said, because we're dealing with people who are often businesses or may not even be residents, but they need our support. They may not be resident in Decorum. I don't know if you want to add anything, Matt or Stacey.
I don't have anything to add now.
So, just Adrian, yes.
A very brief comment. Thank you for this. I think it's worth noting that we always should note that these things, equity, diversity, inclusion and belonging, are valuable to the work that we do for everybody, whatever we call them, in our borough. And even though this strategy goes beyond the end of the life of this borough, the citizens and the customers and the residents will all probably still be here after that. So it's a good job that we've got this in place to bridge over that gap and hopefully be picked up the other end by some equally dedicated people who may well indeed be the same people.
Yeah, does anyone else have any further questions? Well, I just want to say I think it's an incredibly important piece of work. I think that it chimes really well with the really excellent staff survey that we've had recently, and I think that survey pays tribute to all the aspects that also come up in the strategy, and they form an incredibly important part of us going forward. And that's kind of all the more so in the current environment where we see so many divisions within our society. And so I feel very pleased that we're able to bring this forward, and I hope and I'm sure that the Cabinet will accept the recommendation to approve the Equity, Diversity, Inclusion and Belonging Strategy 2025-23 to 30.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So thank you. Thank you all very much for all the work you've done on it. So item 9 is the Treasury Management Outturn and Performance Indicators 24-25. William, do you want to introduce that?
Well, I think it speaks for itself, and if anybody's got any detailed questions, then Nigel's here to help.
No questions?
No question.
Nigel, you're let off lightly.
It did go through audit committee. We had a lot of questions and queries at that point. And I know that how this cabinet knows how we look after our cash is very, very important. Hence these statutory returns, which don't necessarily provoke a lot of conversation in the cabinet, but they are looked at in a lot of detail by officers and the audit committee as well. And we also have auditors that look at that as well. So from that perspective, suitable scrutiny has taken place.
Yeah, no.
It's possibly a sort of technical question. I'm afraid I didn't attend the finance scrutiny and so on, but I think it mentions that HRA capital finance requirement increased from 328 million to 367 million. So does that mean that HRA has got 39 million more assets?
It means it's taken out 39 million more borrowing because of the investment in the portfolio that it's had. Now, the HRA is doing a huge amount of new build at the moment, last year and this year, hence why its debt level has been increasing in the last 2 or 3 years. We're not taking a lot of that out as external debt. We're using cash balances and internally, but there will come a point, I expect, in the next couple of years, in line with the HRA business plan, where we will have to do more external borrowing to maintain that investment in our housing stock. But again, in terms of the value of that debt, I think the total debt of the HRA is 360 million, and the value of the portfolio is worth 1.1 billion. So if you look at that from an individual's perspective, like your home, your mortgage, if you've got one, it's circa having a 30% loan to value mortgage ratio. So it's not particularly something that's out of kilter or anything to concern about, even though 360 million pounds worth of debt does feel a little bit worrying.
Well, thank you very much, Nigel. Congratulations on really successful Treasury management policy. So thank you. So the recommendation is Cabinet recommends to Council acceptance of the report on Treasury management performance and the prudential indicators for 2024-25. Thank you. Item 10. Is the tenant satisfaction measures 2024-25, and I'll hand over to Simi to introduce that.
Thank you, Sally. So this is basically a report just to share with the Cabinet. There is no approval required, but it's just to give an update on how we're doing. The tenant satisfaction measures are basically key indicators for social housing landlords such as us to collect and report back, and it's a legal requirement, and we have been doing it since 2023, almost a year now, or 2 years actually. Yes, that's right. And we get regular quarterly reports on those, and we see performances even in the scrutiny committee. So over to Hannah now to maybe present it in more detail to the Cabinet. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have the more detailed reporting in front of you, and I am taking that as read, but we do appreciate there's a lot of information in there, and we just wanted to go through the very brief highlights with you. As the portfolio holder explained, this is the second set of results for our tenant satisfaction measures, which are a new set of indicators that we are required to report on every year. They are split into two parts. We have 10 management information measures, which are standardised key performance indicators that gives us the opportunity to compare and contrast ourselves to other social housing providers across the country, as we're all following that same methodology. And then we have the same with a tenant perception survey, which has 12 perception measures that we ask our tenants to provide us with their views. So this year we had fantastic results. We contacted 9,600 tenants, and we had almost 1,700 responses back. So really fantastic to see people so willing to share their perceptions with us. In terms of the management information, maintaining building safety, some excellent results relating to that, with 100% across the board. Fantastic to see the work that's been conducted on our compliance paying off. Keeping properties in good repair. The homes that do not meet the decent home standard have seen a significant reduction, and our repairs are now 9 out of 10 times for non-emergency is completed on time, and 9.9% completed within timescale for emergency repairs. So some really impressive results from the work that's been put into our repairs service as well. So effective complaint handling, we have seen a small rise in the number of complaints per stage 1 complaints, but that has been offset with a reduction in the number of stage 2 complaints per 1,000 homes. We have also seen some really impressive improvements on the response times for our complaint handling as well, which we were really focusing on in the last year. So the antisocial behaviour cases per 1,000 homes has also reduced. There's been a small increase in the number of hate incidents per 1,000 homes, but that is still below the median for social housing providers of our size. And here is the totality of the responses from our tenants in these surveys. So some fantastic results, particularly the improvements that we've made in relation to satisfaction with repairs and satisfaction with building safety as well, but still some work to do in other areas that have been highlighted within the report itself. What I did just want to touch on that isn't covered in the report is we are now maintaining the perception surveys per month, so we are obtaining that on a monthly basis. And these are all looking green at the moment, as they are all improved on our performance for 24-25. And I'm looking forward to bringing back the 25-26 results to you this time next year.
Great, thank you very much, Hannah. That's a really excellent set of results. Are there any questions? I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, and that is, as I said, I think it's a really worthwhile report. It really focuses the minds. I know that you say it's statutory to do it, but as I said, it's a good focus. The results, overall satisfaction over 72%, really excellent. But the bit I think that is best, which I've been really pleased to see, not just today, but in coming through, is the repairs and the fact that they're done promptly and that they're done first time, and that's feeding through into the satisfaction. And I think that's a really important result. And thank you to everybody who's contributing to that. And let's keep on that trajectory. It's fantastic. So thank you very much. And great that you can share this year's results, early results already, and all looking very good. So thank you all. So in terms of, oh yes, this is for information, so it's for information only, and thank you very much for the presentation. Item 11, the Financial Monitoring Report, Q1 2025-26. William, shall I hand over to you for that?
Yes, the report outlines the current situation and forecast. In the general fund, this is £500,000 over. That is mostly because of higher than expected Treasury receipts. There are a few issues with service delivery that are being addressed, and but nothing to cause any undue concern. And Nigel can talk to any detail that anybody wants to explore.
Just about very little. I won't go into the detail that's in the report and assume it is as read. We're in a good financial performance in terms of for 25-26, but as the portfolio holder has said, there are some pockets of services that we are having to look at in terms of mitigation and how they're spending their budgets, and that's something that will be reported back as part of Q2. We are now 6 days outside of Q2, so those reports will be being produced over the next couple of weeks and being presented to members in December, at which point we hope to have a little bit more of an update on the mitigation and maybe some proposals on how we finance some of those areas in terms of pressures, because some of them have been ongoing pressures for a couple of years now, and there are services that we now need to resolve that from a short-term and a medium-term perspective. But overall, the financial performance is strong at the moment, with some areas of concern that we're looking at.
Thank you for that summary. I know it was very well examined in the Finance and Resources Overview and Scrutiny Committee, which I attended. I don't know if it came to audit. I'm afraid I didn't come to audit. But
no, the overall performance was reported back to the Audit Committee, but it goes to the Resources Overview and Scrutiny.
So, does anyone have any questions? So I think we're very happy to note that, and you know, as I said, note your comments that overall a strong performance, but there are pockets that we need to be looking at, and we will continue to scrutinise those and see that they are, you know, that we can do our best to mitigate where there are pressures. So the recommendation is to, this is to note as well, to note the Q1 2025-26 forecast, financial outturn position for the general fund, housing revenue account and capital programme. Noted? Noted. Thank you. So we come to the end of our part 1 meeting, whereupon we now move to part 2, and the public is excluded. So there's no public participation, so we can move straight on.